Hi, I'm Janie Donaldson.
And I'm Cindy Walter.
And I'm David Martelli.
Welcome to Quilt Central,
where we celebrate quilting
in everyday living.
We've been encouraged today to show you more continuous line patterns.
And I've been to a lot of quilt shows, but not the one we're going to show you, Machine Quilter Showcase.
And we're so anxious to show you new techniques and new methods to make your binding fast and efficient for all those dreaded UFOs that we all know that we have.
This is Quilt Central.
Quilt Central is made possible in part by Jacquard Products, committed to meeting the needs of artists. Janome America, Janome, because you simply love to sew. Fairfield Processing Corporation, we care for your quilts. A1 Quilting Machines, A1, precision quilting machines. Olfa, the original rotary cutting system. Sulky of America, makers of decorative threads, stabilizers, books, and iron-on transfer pins. Welcome to Quilt Central, celebrating quilting in everyday living with your hosts Janie Donaldson, Cindy Walter, and David Martelli.
Hello, I'm Helen Squire, and I'm here today to introduce you to Janie Donaldson. I know Janie threefold. I know her as her editor for her books for American Quilter Society. We have Adeline Continuous Quilting Patterns and the new sequel, which is Adeline Continued More Quilting Patterns. I know you as a neighbor here in Paducah, Kentucky, and I know you as a friend, and I've spent many a family dinner with you, and I appreciate that very much. But my job today is here as a professional quilter, fellow quilt designer, and I want to marvel and applaud how many beautiful quilting designs you have.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Helen. Yes, there's a lot to learn about these patterns and how they work. So today I wanted to really show you a working model of the book. If you're really using this book, you'll probably have the binding torn off.
Weren't you just at a quilt show?
Yes, in Indianapolis, and 50 women had this in the same guild, and they have used their books, and they are all afraid, and they are using them, and they've done more actually quilting with the patterns than I have.
They're afraid to take the edge off, right?
Oh, they did. They really did, because once you take the edge off, you will discover that you can get the pages right on a copy machine, and that is the beauty of it, is when you are trying to find a pattern that you want to use and get it sized up, you can select one, and here we have a page from the book, and then we've enlarged it so that we can use it. I'm a long arm person, so I like to stretch it as big as I can to get done as quick as I can. And here is the first fancy chicken pattern that I was playing with, and as a kind of a cute story with this, I did it, and then I wanted to fill in the bottom, and I did flames on the bottom, and my kids call that the roasted chicken.
I see you used a lot of thread painting techniques here.
Yeah, I like to add a little body to it, and so I like to add fancy threads. I have another one under here. This is really the better one of the two. I put some ends on it, and I filled it in with a little thread play. But it only takes about 3.5 minutes to run that on a long arm.
Very good. And we have here.
Here is another one, a page from this book here. This is a good design, and it can be twisted and turned a lot of different ways. But if you just put it on a copy machine, and the overlap is in it. So if you tape your 8x11s together, you won't lose anything. And once you decide how your design will be, because there's also a corner in the book, you can lay out a big master, which I did here. And this is half of the piece that's underneath.
It matches to here?
Yes, it matches there.
So this would be the reverse?
Yes. And this here, I did a little bit of reverse applique. I got a little color underneath, but this is a good pattern. You could make it pine cones, or you could make it Christmas red and green. I hang this in the foyer, and then my leftover blocks, whatever I have, I keep using those little pieces, and I pin them or button them onto the
Showcase
center.
them. I like the embellishment that you have here. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Again, more uses for your quilting
Yes.
patterns.
Then I have another one here, a page from the book, or another pattern, and I enlarged it a little bit. I wanted to see if I could get a block, how I would get a block. So I was playing a little bit with the enlarged pieces, but I decided that I would be better off if I got a block this size. So you can see it's rough, but it's taped together, but it works for a wonderful master.
Nice companion block to your
Yes.
quilt and border.
Then I decided to do a border, and I'm going to show you quickly how I get the corners. I actually learned this from you.
Thank you for the plug.
But you can take your pattern and put two of the images together, and you start playing with that, and you can get a very wide corner, and you might have to fudge a line or two, but it'll still be a continuous line. Or you can shrink it down until you find something that delights you and works really well. This one here, as you can see, I just like the smaller size in the corner and the little point on it. So that's how I got that border.
You can change the dimensions by extending and
Yes.
flipping, and very nice, very, very pretty. Nice use for your patterns. Now tell me about this one here.
This one here, this is kind of unusual because it's a circle. And it is, I did it a little larger because I wanted to cover a Christmas tree skirt.
Oh, that's a nice use.
And if you are sitting at a sit-down machine, you know, your throat size is only so big, and I knew I couldn't get all the way around, or it's a struggle to be turning the piece. So I decided if I could do just a section and overlap them continuously, I could probably handle that much fabric in the throat of the machine. So here, and we cut this one away a little bit so you could see a little bit better. But as long as these circles overlap, and there's a little mark on there for my favorite place, but you could still stretch it out to get a bigger circle if you like.
Excellent, excellent.
That you can see that'll, with 4 of these, we'd get right around the circle. And this skirt,
And everybody thinks you have to make a quilt, and meanwhile home decor is so important nowadays, and to be able to take a quilting design and to utilize it as you have here is an extra added plus.
right. So I did one for Christmas, and then I kind of wanted one to put under a lamp base during the year, so I have another one under here.
I love that one.
It's a little darker colors.
Well, that looks like anybody can do it, and I think what I like most about your book, and then the sequel to it, is that you have the color-coded. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I have single line patterns, which are continuous, and then we go to actually a section that has double lines, and
That's the black and the green.
the black and the green.
Okay.
And if you didn't want to enlarge the pattern, but you wanted it to reach across the border, you just add distance in between the two lines.
So an 8-inch pattern could become a 6-inch or a 10-inch.
Right, and with for long arms, it's really easy because they just adjust their laser light, and there's really nothing, they don't have to move their pattern or anything. Some of these, if you slide the line up, you'll get a huge, like on this one, a diamond.
Oh, here's a 3-color one.
There's those 3-color one, which are actually being used for some of the embroidery machines because they can fill in, and the software they're using is wonderful.
Let me see one of those 4. Do they get really
Yeah,
difficult?
they get complicated. Now here's a beautiful one. It's a circus wagon design.
But you could use any portion of this.
Sure,
in
you
your
don't have to
quilting
use
design.
any, all of them together if you want to separate them and wider, make your border wider, or just use one. You still can. So you really get a lot more.
What I like about your pattern packs here and patterns is that you're giving the viewer and the quilter many different sizes of the same design. It's
Yep.
excellent.
Sometimes they interlock, sometimes they stack, sometimes they reverse, and you get a better pattern that way. So it's fun to play with them.
Excellent ideas. Well,
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure to be here as dear Helen has met dear Janie. I'm comfortable and happy with you taking on this mantle of quilting designs. Good job.
Hello, I'm Gail Broadwater, director of the show, and I would like to welcome you to Machine Quilter Showcase. Bring that up, and then we're going to keep doing this. During Machine Quilter Showcase, we have hands-on classes with machines. We also have lecture-type classes where students sit and listen for 2 hours and take notes furiously. And we have demo classes where instructors work on a machine as it's projected on a screen overhead. We also have a quilt competition where over 300 quilts compete for more than $26,000 in cash awards. The quilts that are on display at Machine Quilter Showcase are of exceptional quality. The quilters pay attention to every minute detail in their quilting, as well as excellent piecing or applique. They keep us on their toes. Each year we find a new technique that's been introduced that's not been covered in our category descriptions. So immediately after the show, we have to study this new technique and find a way to fit it into our competition for the coming year. One of the special categories at our show is the junior category. I'm especially proud of it. It is for quilters under the age of 18 to encourage the younger ones who might be interested to enter the show and learn and compete. And this year we were delighted that one of the junior entries was bumped from that category and is a second place award winner in the theme category, which is a major category of the show, and with some really stiff competition. Laura Fogg was the young lady's name, and the quilt that she made was actually a freshman art assignment on shadowing. The fashion show is a blast. We see the quilters model their own garments that they've worked on and dreamed about fashion show runway, and everyone is there having a relaxed time. My favorite part of Machine Quilter Showcase in itself is when the show opens, whether it's sneak preview or Thursday, Friday, or Saturday morning. You'll see me at the door. When they unlock the door, I like to greet the quilters as they come in, welcome them, and invite them to study, look, and learn while they're at the show. The vendors also put a lot of thought and design into their booth areas so that you get a secondary show. When you look through their booths, they have artwork showing samples of all of the goods that they have on sale. Each year we have grown to expand to include more quilts, more classes, more categories. Every year there's something new added to improve the show and to expand our educational abilities. We do hope you will come and visit us at Machine Quilter Showcase.
Today we have with us Pam Clarke, and she's a Quilt Central celebrity teacher. Welcome, Pam.
Hi, Janie.
Did you see all those fabulous quilts at the Machine Quilter Showcase?
Oh, there's some beautiful quilts. We have come a long way with our machine quilting,
And what did I hear about you?
I took second place in the fashion show.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Let's see what you brought us today.
Well, you know, I kind of do things kind of like in order, but this is a little bit off a little bit for me, and this is called Herky Jerky.
Herky Jerky.
And all levels of quilters can enjoy this, but really the beginner quilter could do it. I think even children could do it.
We're always looking for something to start them in at an early age.
Yes, and it's really fun and simple. What you want to do is you want to use a fusible web, like a bonded type, and it has kind of like a shiny paper behind like that. And then what you want to do also is, and make sure you follow the directions, okay, because every one of them are different. All right, then you're going to take, and you're going to use a template plastic. Okay. And this is like Mylar. And what you want to do is you want to cut out your template plastic, and then you want to be very careful because when you use this fusible stuff, it is reversed.
Okay.
All right, so what we want to do is we want to take this, what I do is I take my template, draw it on my fusible.
The shiny side, the other side.
Oh, yeah, the paper side, exactly, you're right. The paper side, and then what I did is if I lay this down here, it doesn't match. What I did is it has to be reversed. So I tend to make a little mistakes because I like to go do things really fast. Okay, so what I do is I have to make myself notes. This side up, all right? So that I know that if I see like a flower and I want it to be exactly like that, I've got to flip that over, all right? So then you're going to take it and you want to make sure that you cut it out so you have paper along the outside edges.
Okay.
Don't make the mistake I did, and the first time I did it, I cut it out exact.
Too close.
Ooh, it's real hard to get it off. Okay, then you're going to take it and you're going to cut it on the line. And I like to use like a permanent marker. That way there, I know it's not going to smear on me. And you're going to cut it out like this. Now some of this, this bonded fusible stuff is kind of hard to get off. And the one thing that I do is I take it and I actually kind of pull it back like this. I just kind of pull like a tear.
But it won't tear the fabric.
It won't tear the fabric, and then I just pull it off. And then you want to be very careful. You're going to feel like a shiny side on here because you do not want to get this on your iron.
Oh,
all right.
yes.
And then you're going to lay it down. Now, what I do with this though is this is how you're going to cut out the fabric, okay? And what you want to do is you want to actually take and piece your quilt top, and I use like strips of fabric, okay?
This is really interesting with the double.
Right, and then you don't have,
sashing.
I did, and what's nice about this is I don't have to line anything up except for my intersections right here.
Oh, yes.
Okay, simple, very easy. Okay, and then I do my background quilting first.
Oh,
all right.
I noticed you had all that on there.
So you don't have to stop and go around the flowers. Then you're going to take it, and I've done it on my long arm, taking the iron and just press it, but you could take it off, you can unload it. And you're going to lay your pieces down, and then you would press it on top of the background. All right, once that's done, then you're going to take it to your machine. Or you're going to bring your machine over if you've taken it off. Sometimes I take mine off because a lot of times I'll do my background quilting first. And what you want to do, it's like I do it in either little circles, or you can do it's called like just jerking the machine back and forth. And you want to make sure that the machine is on a slow speed.
That's why you always call it Herky Jerky.
Yeah, so you can just be, it doesn't matter, you can't make a mistake. All right, and I've already quilted part of this, but now I'm going to show you how I just do it. It's really fun. And a lot of times I'll put my I'll listen to music while I'm doing this. You know, because it kind of gives you like a little rhythm. Okay, and then you're going to take it, and you're going to go back and forth, just like so. And you can speed it up just a little bit if you're real comfortable with it. Another thing I like to do is I like to take this, like this machine I'm working on, I can put I can level it down so I can sit at the machine.
Do you always use black?
And I almost always use black, but I think it'd be really fun like in a variegated thread.
What kind of encountered cross stitch when you put the colors on it, the black makes that pop out?
Yes, it does. And you want to really make sure you get your threads out of the way because you don't want to get that caught. So we can go a little bit faster. And all it is just back and forth. And let's say you didn't think you got enough of the black on there, just go back over it again because what it is you're just herking and jerking around it. It's not anything fun. But what's really neat about this too is it's not just for quilts. You can make like little baby wall hangings. I have, like if you're going to do like a little dinosaur quilt for a boy. Okay, when I come into this part now, I can come in and do the middle. I can do here or there. So I can come in and do this one. But it looks really cute on clothes, like my t-shirt I have on.
So even continuous line, even though you're just doing an outline of...
Just go all the way around it.
Have you ever found so you could actually shade with it? You'd use a twinkle thread sometimes?
Oh, I think that would be really pretty. I haven't tried it, but that's a good idea. You can also come in and do like different, use the black and then maybe come back in and do a little bit more with different colors. All right, what do you think? Isn't that fun? Wouldn't that make a fun, fast gift?
I think so.
All right.
I can imagine that on all kinds of things.
Yeah, it looks great on the bottom of a skirt.
Yes, have you done one of those?
No, I haven't, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing it for the MQS show. So, all right, what do you think?
See, I think it's great. And you've got one on your shirt. Did you do that one too?
Oh, yes. This one is very easy.
And it's got a little blanket stitch around the edge.
Yes. Now, this one I did on my home machine. But you know what? Usually I do my long arm for everything. But I could have probably put it on, but it was so fast just to do it on my home machine.
This is a fantastic idea, and it really does have a wonderful look to it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm so excited. Quilt Central is doing cruises.
Yes, I'm excited too. And our cruise planner, Janine Peterson's here to tell us a little bit about them.
Well, you guys, we have a 5-year cruising plan.
5 years.
And our first one will be June 19th in 2005. We will be going to Alaska. Leaving Seattle, we'll be going up into Glacier Bay, which glaciers are blue.
That's what they tell me.
That's
They're
what they
blue.
said. And so we're just going to have a great time with quilting and seeing the country.
So
How about our
exciting.
next cruise?
Okay, the next one will be in the fall, in October, and we're going to go to Canada and to that area up the St. Lawrence River, where during the fall foliage, all the colors are browns and reds, and it's so gorgeous
sounds
back
It
there.
beautiful.
sounds inspiring for quilters. They love the colors so much.
And I
Colors.
saw the chart. We have cruises planned out for the next 5 years, and one of them is to Rome.
Oh, they're all over the world.
All
over
over
the world.
We're going to
One's
go
to the Panama Canal.
Canal,
I mean,
Mexican Riviera.
Yes, and every time it's a different cruise in a different part of the world with different teachers and different techniques.
And one of the great things is we only quilt when we're at sea, because when we're on shore or when the boat docks, we get to play.
Yes. And we'll go see all the shops, the cruise shops that are in those areas of town, and we'll just have a great time.
And shop, shop, shop.
Oh, yeah.
Eat.
So if you're interested in Quilt Central cruises, go to quiltcentraltv.com.
Hey, Dave, what are you working on?
It's a little project Mary asked me to finish up for.
Oh, I know. It's the ends to that big table runner she's making. So you're doing the curved seams for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a smart gal.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle of doing one right now.
Okay.
Could you hand me a pen?
That was a trick, because I know you don't use pins.
No, we don't use pins anymore.
Okay, well, show me how you can do it without.
This is just a simple presser foot that adapts to all sewing machines. So I'm going to do one for you, and then maybe if we have a little time, I can explain exactly how it works.
Okay.
What you want to do is keep right side, corner to corner, because tradition has it we always start in the middle. And because we're not using pins anymore, we don't have to do that. So we do right side, corner to corner, and we're simply going to follow this 1/4 inch guide right here, keeping both pieces of fabric on that guide at all times. So let's get that started. And the good thing about it is you can constantly stop, readjust your hands and your material according to where it needs to be. Keeping both pieces of fabric on the guide at all times. See how that comes right around there?
Looks beautiful.
Oh, and it's going to end up gorgeous. Just move it, slightly move it a little bit. And because my finger is a little bit larger than most women that do a lot of quilting, I'm going to use these tweezers here before we get to the end. And it is very helpful for other people to use the tweezers as well.
A lot of us use tweezers like
Yeah.
that. I think those are handy.
And as you can see, there's no pinning, there's no easing process because the foot does it for you, and absolutely no clipping. You can absolutely lay it flat and press it in either direction. And there's your result with no puckers.
It was great. Let's see here, too. It's great. I would probably iron it towards that side like that, and it would lay really fat. Well, how did you do that? How does that foot do that?
It's really amazing how the foot works. If we can see the foot right here, every sewing machine has presser feet. And what we've done is we've figured out a way to basically trick the sewing machine. At the bottom of the foot, we have 2 skis, okay? One ski sits on one presser foot, and the other ski sits on the other presser foot. And what happens is we have 2 sizes of the skis. That's what I like to call them. And because there's 2 sizes and one's a little bit taller than the other one, it applies a little bit more pressure on one feed dog than the other. So basically what we're doing is making one feed dog work a little faster than the other one.
I see.
Although it's not really doing
So it's
that.
almost moving the fabric a little bit faster on one side than the other side, maybe.
Absolutely. And if you really can see the hollowness of the foot, we designed that intentionally. And this is why we designed that. This does the easing process for you. If you notice the inside of the skis, they come out in like a tubular formation. And what happens is as you're doing the sewing process, it allows you to do the easing process because it does a tubular formation as you're doing the sewing, so it's like a giant corkscrew. So that does the easing process for you.
Super
So
idea.
it basically takes your pinning, your easing, and your clipping and eliminates it. You do your curve and you press it. It's fairly simple. It's a really neat process.
And so do one more. We have a little bit of problems cutting curves, too. Maybe show me how to cut this.
Oh, cutting curves, that's been very difficult in the past because of a lot of undue pressure on the blades on rotary cutters. But we've able to make it pretty easy now for you. Because your finger's on top of the blade, you simply just roll the rotary cutter forward, and you're going to hold your template right in place here, and you just follow the template. And you just give yourself a perfect little circle.
Can you cut sitting down? I can't.
Absolutely, you can.
I can't.
It's a little bit hard with this table in table position, but you can actually cut it sitting down. It's a lot easier to follow templates with this rotary cutter. It just makes it really, really easy.
Dave, I am so thankful that you're on our show and our tool guy. You know, since we've had so many men in our industry now and introducing all these new tools, things are easier and easier every single day, so thanks.
It is.
I hope you enjoyed our show today. We'll see you next week.
Where we're going to enjoy a show that consists of fabric, fabric, and more fabric.
Quilt around the clock. Visit the Quilt Central website at www.quiltcentraltv.com for more information on this program. Quilt Central is made possible in part by Jacquard Products, committed to meeting the needs of artists. Janome America, Janome, because you simply love to sew. Fairfield Processing Corporation, we care for your quilts. A1 Quilting Machines, A1, precision quilting machines. Ulfa, the original rotary cutting system. Sulky of America, makers of decorative threads, stabilizers, books, and iron-on transfer pins. We are celebrating quilting in everyday living by offering you the new educational beginner kits. You may call toll-free 1-866-PADUCA or visit www.quiltcentraltv.com.